it's Danielle and I am back with another process video, and I'm going to be starting out this video a little bit different than I normally do. So normally when I start a video, a lot of choices are already made. Papers are cut, embellishments are picked, and different things like that, but that's not normally how I obviously start out. What I usually do when I sit down to scrapbook is I will pull a bunch of things that I think that I might want to work with and have them sitting on my desk ready to grab from. So for this particular layout, I've pulled out some papers from my Felicity Jane Olivia kit. I've also pulled out these flowers and these Teresa Collins enamel shapes. I pulled out some of these die cuts from the Paper Studio and this sticker pack from My Mind's Eye. It's super old, but I thought that the colors matched with my layout. I also pulled out some stamp sets that I thought would go with this layout, some thickers in the colors that I wanted to use, and then finally my Ali Edwards story kit from this last month. It's from the Gathering set, just because there were some pieces in there that I thought could be put onto this layout. And this is basically where I start from. I won't use everything from these items, and I will also pull out different things as I go along, but this gives me a good idea where I'm going. And so once I make a ton of decisions is where I usually start filming, and that's where I'm at this point. So I'm doing an 8.5 by 11 layout, and I'm scrapbooking this photo of me and my daughter. I start out using this gray and white striped paper, but I had flipped it over and I really liked the back too. So I kind of put my photo on there to see if that would look good. And I did like it, but then I thought, oh, I'd have to start from scratch. So I just went with my original plan. Now to my photo, I'm going to be layering a couple pieces of paper behind it. I first layer it on a mint piece of cardstock, and that came in my Felicity Jane kit. And then I layer behind that photo this piece of orangey reddish paper. It has kind of a tone-on-tone polka dot. And this isn't the direction that I originally thought I was going. I was going to use some more softer pink colors, pink and coral colors. But as I went through my process of doing this page, I at one point really thought, oh, I really want a pop of bright color. And that's when I brought out that orangey reddish color. And I really liked the way that turned out. So next I'm going to be working on my title, and I'm using some Dear Lizzie stickers. They're called Treasure, and they're super pretty. They're a minty colored, and then on top of that it looks like some text print is on it. And then on top of that is some glitter, and it almost looks like chunky sugar. It's really pretty. But I'm just getting these lined up, and I played with these quite a bit, and I messed around with a few different titles. And I finally settled on this one, but they're not sticky anymore. So I'm going to use some Tombow liquid adhesive just to get these in place. And the title's going to be You Are Mine. Like I said, I messed around with a couple of different ones, and I settled on this because this is one of my favorite photos of me and my daughter, and it was taken a few days before she had her first open heart surgery. And we had to travel down to California about a week early just for pre-op appointments and whatnot. So we kind of lived out of a motel for a while. And on this particular day, we were getting ready to go out to lunch, and me and my daughter were ready, and we're kind of waiting for my husband. And I had just was holding her and letting her look out the window. And I so vividly remember thinking how happy I was that she was mine. And despite everything that was going to happen, and despite us not knowing what tomorrow was going to bring, I still in that moment just was so happy that I had her. And I still remember that. Whenever I look at this picture, I just think, oh my gosh, I was just so happy to be a mom. And so that's where that title came from, that says You Are Mine. And I also wanted to put You Are Mine and I Am Yours. Just because I'll always be her mommy. So, and because that paper that I'm putting that title on has those stripes on it, it was really easy to just get everything lined up and how I wanted it. So after I get this title glued down, I pull out some cork shapes, and I got these shapes in a Scraptastic kit. I really wanted to use these flowery looking ones on this particular layout, and they also came with those cork banners. So I put that on there as well, just just to bring another element of cork into the layout. But at first I don't know if I really dig the banner, but I glue it on, so it's definitely stuck down. But in the end, I end up really liking it. So before I put down those cork flowers, I had layered a mint colored doily behind that. And I really like the way that cluster looks down there with the photo and the cork and the doilies all on that striped paper. That makes my heart really happy to see all of those things clustered together. So, all right, so I'm gonna pull out some enamel dots and put these on there just because I want some more of that orangey color to come into my layout. So I get these put on there, and then I'm using all of them that are on that paper. Okay, so I usually will scrapbook and film when my daughter is sleeping and my husband's at work, but today they were both here and my husband thought he was being super funny and was just going to ruin everything. So he throws his hand in there and I told him, you know, I don't really care if you do that. So then he went and got my daughter, as you could see, and kind of just shoved her whole her whole head in there like, well, how do you like this? And I was like, I still don't care what you do. So they thought they were being super funny, and it didn't last very long though because I said I don't really care. But after I get those enamel dots kind of in the two little clusters, I pull out some different inks to do my date stamp. And I just pulled out ones that were in the colors of my layout, but I settle on this Hero Arts ink called Soft Granite. And I'm using a Dear Lizzie stamp here. And I'm going to use one of the phrases that are on that. And the one that I choose is Remember This. And then I just get the date stamped on here. I'm also thinking about, as I get the stamp kind of cleaned off, where I want to put that date at. And I decide that just in that lower portion of that white space would just kind of be a good spot. So I get that on there, and I think that that turned out good. And then I pull out a pen to do some journaling. And I really struggle with this, you'll see. I know I want to get something on there, but I also know me. And I know that when I have a big title on my page, or there's some typing on my page, or anything like that, and then I choose to add some handwriting on it as well, I usually don't like it. And I really want to like this one because a lot of these elements I don't have any more of that gray striped paper. This is it. And I don't want to redo it. So I practice a couple options for journaling just to kind of get an idea of what I want. And also here you see I'm just sitting there. My husband's talking to me. He's just being a real pain today. So, but I finally, when I decide to actually write it, I just tell myself, Danielle, just write on it and don't even think about it. Just write as if you were writing on something super not important. And it worked for this layout. I think it ended up turning out okay. So after I get my my journaling on here, I kind of do a good once over and think, is there anything else that I want to put on this? But I call it good. So this is the final look. All right, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see everybody soon. All right, see you later, guys.